Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots. If this is your first time listening to the show, thank you for being here. Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the big podcast players, you can find us there. Also on our website, fortworthroots.com. You can stream us straight off of our own website, and we're on YouTube. This is a variety interview podcast. We interview a lot of people. If they have an interesting story or they're in the middle of a project, we get them on the show, have a very comfortable conversation. It's not like typical interview style. But check it out and tell me what you think. You can email me at media@fortworthroots.com. Subscribe to the show so you don't miss out. Every Monday we put out a new episode. It'll notify you and let you know what we got going on. Like next week with the longest serving mayor of Fort Worth, Texas, Betsy Price. She'll be on the show, and I was really excited to do this recording. I'm a nervous wreck in this recording. I tried to smooth that out in the post-editing, but it still comes through. You can still tell I'm really, really nervous, but hope you get to check that one out, and that'll be coming out next week. But this interview today is just as important. This is the first time we've had somebody from this musical genre on the show. If you'll stay tuned to the end of the episode, I'm going to play a track that our guest today emailed me and allowed me to use with his permission. Very generous of him, so you can check out his art at the end of the show. But this guy right here, there are other people in Fort Worth that do this kind of music, and he labels himself nowadays as a rapper. He's decided that that is his genre, that's where he belongs, and the content's great, but there's just not a lot of that in Fort Worth. But this guy is the perfect person to bring Fort Worth Roots into the rap genre, and could not be more excited to have this guy on. I hope we get to have him on many, many times in the future and watch him grow as an artist and see all the content, the art that's going to come out of his label. Guys, gals, thank y'all for being here. I'm going to stop talking. Please give it up for our guest today, Shaq, Mack. Let's start the show. It's got you and somebody else sitting in front of the laptop, obviously doing some editing. So you,
yeah,
hands on with that, right?
Yeah, it was me and Chico. We were, let me see. We was mixing the song actually. Yeah, yeah. That song's not done, but yeah, it can take a long time. Like we were in the studio. What's today? Saturday.
Today's Saturday.
Thursday. From like 9 a.m. to like
that's when we were
4. Yeah,
back and forth. Yeah,
9 a.m. to 4, and finished the song. Recorded like 3 more, got those done, and yeah, it can be a long time.
You're busy.
Yeah, I try to.
I was looking at because I have a terrible memory. So before a guest rolls up, I'm 10, 20, 30 minutes before, I'm looking through their social media and trying to, just so I can remember. But I saw all your YouTube videos. Like, y'all are making videos left and right. And you just released one on the 4th, too. Yeah,
we just released one yesterday. Literally, as soon as I leave here, we're going to go shoot 4 more today.
Really? Who does all your video, like your filming and your editing?
My boy K-Pack.
K-Pack, shout out, yeah.
K-Pack Films. So he does all the video. Chico, Music and Focus, he does all the recording, mixing, and mastering.
It looks very professional.
Yeah.
Like when I've got some real basic camera gear, and it doesn't look like I shot the video, so it looks way better than anything I could produce. So
yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's been filming since 2012. So, I mean, I started all this music stuff April 5th, 2019. I had never recorded, never written a song. I didn't know anything about it. It was the first time I ever stepped in the studio.
You have been busy.
Yeah.
You have 2 albums out already?
Yeah, 2 albums.
Wow. And the one that you just released, that's what's the name of that one?
Where I've Been.
Yeah. Should have wrote that down. It's right here, right?
No, that's the new single. New single, All on Me.
All on Me.
But Where I've Been was the most recent one I dropped in October.
Yeah.
And now we finally hit a stride. Like I've embraced. I'm a rapper now.
Yeah.
Like it's Shaq Mack. Shaq Mack's the brand. You know, Loyal Dreams is the label.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that because you got Loyal Dreams on everything.
Yeah,
is that your label?
That's my label.
Nice.
Yeah. So we went official with that LLC in December, and I think that's when I finally came to realizations. Like, all right, I'm in this.
Okay. So you were still trying to kind of figure out your genre when you first started?
Well, so when I first started doing music, like I wasn't doing music. So I went through a divorce. I was young, so we got married at 23, divorced at 26. So like we were together 5 years. So those are like crucial years of your life. So I didn't know who I was. I'm like, all right, what do I do? Started like partying a lot, like in the strip clubs, and I was like, it's blew like $6,000 in 3 months. Like, what am I doing? Like, this is. And I had never been to a strip club prior to that.
Yeah.
And then I just like, and throughout the whole time, I was just writing down thoughts. And then one day I was just like, I'm gonna go record. So I'm just gonna try it out. Mm-hmm. And went in there and never came out because I kept listening to it. I was like, I can do better than that. Yeah. I can do better. And then that one song I went to record, it then turned into an album. I was like, Chick, I want to do an album. I was like, do it? I was like, all right. I did the album. Then after the album, I was like, all right, what do I talk about? Because I've talked about all that segment.
I said what I needed to say.
Yeah. I got all that off my chest. You know, I had people like, oh, man, dude, that's good, man. Like, you got some talent. And I didn't really think nothing of it. And then COVID-19 happened. All right, COVID happened. And I was like, oh, man, this is really done now. And all of a sudden, I went through this, like, creativity phase, like, nobody's business. I'm, like, new song every other day.
Yeah.
To the point, like, I'm selling, like, 3 albums worth of music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you found your calling. I mean, if it's coming to you that easily.
And now, man, not a day. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote, like, 7 songs a day. Mm-hmm. So, and I write everything I record, so it's all.
That's awesome.
It's all experience. So it's like finally get to tell my story.
Uh-huh.
And I'm in a place where like I've done everything, you know, everything that people said to do. Went to college. I was the first from my family to do that. I bought a house after divorce, right by TCU, which is where I went to school at. So like you can't tell me, and it's not like I came from a silver spoon family. Like this is just hard work, and it finally like I went through like hard depression. I came out of it when I like finally just took a step back, looked in the moment, and just reverted back every year and just look what I've done. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes like when you're in the act, and they say this all the time, it sounds so cliche, but you're in the act, you don't really realize what you're doing. And I look back and I'm all right. So I was first from my family to go to college, graduate college at 21. Was a police officer. Had sons a federal agent. Was head safety guy for a construction company. Bought a house. Also set precedent for my younger sister, younger brother, who my sister recently graduated from college.
Awesome.
Brother's in his 3rd year, so it's like, dang, I've helped a lot of people, and that's what I had to come to realization. Like, it's not about the money, like, because I've made a lot of money, like, but that never brought happiness. But it was like the impact, and that's what. And this point forward, moving on, that's all I focus on, just the impact, like the experience, because I realized like some of the things I've experienced, some people have never experienced.
Yeah.
Some people may never experience. Mm-hmm. I did a show in D.C. A couple weeks ago, and you know, you tell me you're from Texas, and I'm like, Texas, and then I come to the realization it's like Texas is no different from D.C., where you still have people here who have never left where they've grown up at, right? Yeah. So you have that there, so it's like they're almost like thrilled because it's like, man,
I've never met somebody.
Yeah, like they want to know, like they're curious.
But it was a good thing though. Warm
it was
reception.
Good thing. And I'm all about vibes, good energy. Yeah. So, you know, smile, greet somebody. That definitely changes somebody's day.
Yeah.
You know that
you get to choose your environment. You get to choose kind of your reality, and that's awesome that you're already discovering that happiness. Yeah. And what direction you want to go with your life. Now you had I think it was like a 3.5 minute track, and I don't think it was a song. I think you were it was almost like you're reading poetry, but you're talking about your life. And so like just now when you told me that you were a police officer, I'm like, I've heard this before.
Yeah, that was the intro to the where did I go from here, the first album.
Yeah. And you know, I very briefly after you reached out to me with email, very briefly like listen to one of your tracks. I'm like, I'd have this guy on my show.
Yeah.
He seems like all right guy. And then I started digging into your stuff. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. This guy's incredible. And so I flipped through a few different things that I was finding on YouTube and Facebook. And yeah, it sounds like you know where you're going and you have a passion for this. And like you already said, you've seen enough.
Yeah.
You're not just somebody that decided they were going to do rap and that now you have to find a message in order to fill that hole. You've already experienced enough in life that you've got a story. You've got something to talk about.
Yeah.
So you're not digging around trying to find something to talk about. It's just coming to you.
It just comes.
Yeah.
It comes. So
lots of life experience.
A lot. And it really quick, man. Like
you're what, 27 now?
29.
29.
I just turned 29, but all of that happened like before I hit 26.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so really from 26 to 29, I've been in like, I know I've created a lot of music and really got the music thing going. But man, like looking back, like I was so depressed those 3 years, like, and I really didn't elevate anywhere. I mean, I bought the house, but like as far as growth, like I didn't really elevate anywhere. But then when I finally came to realization, like 4 months ago, then all of a sudden the growth just like magnified.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like it all like got what does it say? Retroed.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the growth
off.
just and it just
Yeah.
you know, we just enjoying life every day. Every day is good.
Yeah.
Half full.
So it always blows my mind because you see some musicians that they kind of sit in the same pocket for a decade.
Yeah.
And then they either, you know, maybe they fade out or they get a little better. But I guess what I've noticed is that there's some artists in the area that are extremely stagnant.
Yeah.
They don't do a whole lot. They're happy inside the little circle that they formed. And I look at that and I go, how are they living off of the proceeds of what they're doing? Like their passion is not gonna keep the lights on. But
know.
You've been doing it since 2019, and you said you're happy, you're comfortable where you're at. So at what point did it start becoming something that you could live off of?
To be honest with you, I don't have to live off music, so that's why I get to enjoy it.
That's probably very important.
That's the difference. Because if I was living solely off music, it would be bad.
Okay.
It would be bad. Because like at this point, like the amount I've put into it, like I haven't even received that back.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't.
Right. This is your passion.
I get to just enjoy it. I get to do it.
Yeah.
Because like, what would I be doing with that money if I wasn't doing this?
Right.
So at least know, like, even if it's only hitting 5-10 people right now, you know, that's 5 or 10 people I'm having an impact on. Yeah. 5 or 10 people that can be prosperous in society.
And that's where you got to kind of keep your focus.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you start looking at those numbers, it's like, damn.
And I used to do that. And I had to like tell myself, it's like, Shaq, you didn't start music to be this big music module.
Right.
You started to help yourself find a way up. Right.
Yeah.
And in the process, you got lost because you started worrying about everything else. Like, we don't need the money. We don't care about the streams. We just want to make quality music, make a quality impact, fulfill purpose in life.
Yeah.
And I got back to that and started looking at small goals rather than this big picture. And man, life's been so much better. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like people talk and they just say things sometimes, but it seems to me that you're being extremely sincere. I mean, this morning, before you came and did this, you filled your morning with meditation and yoga.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're doing this with me, and I'm very honored that you're here. And then you got recordings after this. Yeah. So you're doing stuff.
Yeah. Gotta stay busy.
You're not just talking. These aren't just words.
Yeah. You guys gotta stay busy, and that was the thing. Like you talking about artists stay stagnant, because I looked at it. I was like, all right, well, if I want to make a bigger impact, what do I do? Because like for the last year, I've been at right under 1,500 followers. So what I do now is I get out more. Yeah, start shaking hands, introducing, just small talk, you know, just shot your email and a day later here.
No, it's great. And that was actually a pretty big moment for me. I don't think anybody's there might have been 2 people that have reached out to me just kind of haphazardly on Facebook But to get an actual email from a label,
yeah,
was kind of a big moment for me. Like, hey, okay, people are starting to, recognize that this is something that's not going away. Like, I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to keep having guests.
Hey, hey, that's what you got. And really, so somehow Fort Worth Roots popped up, and the most recent young lady you had,
Kate Greenhouse.
Kate Greenhouse. So I went to an open mic in Dallas just this past Monday.
You know Kate?
And I don't know her, but she was one of the ones that performed. And I was like, oh, I recognize her.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. And
so those little connections.
Yeah. And that was like it was anything open mic, anything, but it was mainly comics.
Yeah.
But I went there, I did poetry.
Okay.
And I think I really enjoy doing the poetry. And basically all I do is just take my lyrics and just do it a cappella.
Right.
Just do a spoken word with it. So I was like, I just seen
that is so fun.
Came across her on Monday. So.
That's awesome. Well, I think there's going to be more of that as this moves on. Like I've been very diligent about this since I got back. I just moved back from Austin.
Okay.
And that was a kick in the nuts. But I still got a little bit of work done down in Austin. But now that I'm back here and I have a very regular schedule, I'm able to tell people like, okay, I'm available at these times. Whereas when I was in Austin, I really didn't know what was my schedule was going to be like. You ever heard of a band called Blue October? It was big back like early 2000s.
Okay.
And they still have a very large following. It's a great band. I don't mean to, speak badly of them or make them sound like they're not still a big deal, because they are. But they had their heyday, right, back in the early 2000s. Well, I got to sit down with the bass guitarist, Matt Novesky, and my schedule was so screwed up that I actually had to cancel on this dude. And for me, that was another one of those big moments, oh man, this guy, he's deep in the industry. Yeah. He's part of a very well-known band, and this is a big moment for me, and I had to cancel on him because of work. So stuff like that was going on, and it really was kind of kicking my ass. I was very disheartened by that, because I'm very grateful for my job. I'm glad I have income. These are things you should be grateful for.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So whenever this thing started to suffer, I was like, man, I'm going to have to do something different. And Fort Worth Roots was never supposed to be like a podcast that's just central to Fort Worth. Fort Worth Roots is supposed to be, it's rooted in Fort Worth. This is where it's from. But
just expand that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be mobile. We're supposed to go places. I mean, we'll do recordings in Australia one day, sure.
Hey.
But I'm glad to be back, man.
Just crawl, get the steps. You got the main goal, and just small goals and get you there.
But I'm not going anywhere now. Like I'm gonna stick to Fort Worth, and I'm gonna grow this thing organically right here in Fort Worth. So you're gonna have more moments like that where you're going to see a show and you're like, I know this person because I just heard a podcast with them on it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm blasting out everybody's information whenever you come on and you want to promote something. So, I mean, I've already been promoting for you and Kate, and that's kind of the hook. That's going to get people in the door. Like, well, if I go on his show, I know he's going to tell people about it. So, but I'm hoping that, just by helping out artists like yourself that are actually out there creating something, that's going to be enough value to the artist to want to come back on the show. For sure. So, but I love that, man. That's so great. I hope Kate's listening to this episode, but I'm going to have to tell her that. That's really cool.
Did she tell you that her name's not really Kate?
I don't know. Can we tell people that? Yeah.
Well, it wasn't her set, so.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. No, I
really was just trying to see if you knew her as well as I knew her.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a weird flex, but it checks out. Okay. Yeah. No, she told me on the way out the door, and I figured her name wasn't Kate Greathouse, but I wasn't gonna, out her on it. So.
Hey, she looked like a Kate to me.
Yeah. She pulls off Kate. Yeah. But but I immediately forgot her real name, because I know I'll never address her as anything but Kate Greathouse. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I need to make sure that poison's not in my head, because I don't want to mess up in a recording and call her something.
She told us her real name, and I don't even remember.
You forgot too? Yeah. I was immediately discarded.
Yeah. I know that's a common thing with me. Like, they'll say, Shaq Mack? Is that your name? So, yeah.
Well, I wanted to make sure as soon as I met you, like, okay, just to get this out of the way, do I call you Shaq? 'Cause I understand that, people use different names and stuff like that. And after sitting down with Kate, I was like, should I have used a different name? I mean, Andrew Turner is it's a pretty bland name.
Man, you know, how I looked at it, because I remember, like, first time I went to the studio, Chico was like, all right, so what are you going to go by? I said, Shaq Mack. He said, your name? I said, yeah. I said, I've worked too hard for this name to give y'all some fake name. Like, you know, what y'all see from me, what y'all get from me is real deal.
That's awesome.
All the way around, front to back, entertainment, not entertainment.
Well, and that's a cool name too.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a little bit of flair to it. You know, it doesn't sound like something you'd find in any business directory. You know what I mean? Like you could find. I'm pretty sure you could find an Andrew Turner in just about every business directory or short list phone book.
Isn't there a country? No, there's a country singer.
It's probably like Drew or Andy. I don't think there's a famous Andrew Turner. It's just too bland.
His last name is Turner.
There's a bunch of Turners, yeah.
Man, it's killing me.
That's
now. I know
a very
the song.
common name. It's like Smith or Jones. You know. Let me look it up. It's gonna bug you too much.
I'm humming the song. I see it.
Is it Josh Turner?
Josh Turner. There it is. Yeah.
Kinda popped
all right,
into
that's
my head.
definitely not Andrew, but
Yeah.
you know,
there's lots of Turners. It's very common.
yeah, related down the road. Yeah.
There's not a lot of Macks. I saw the cover you did, 5 on it, and for some reason I was like, that's I know that song, but this looks like it's his. Like it looked like it was meant for you. So
it's funny. So like right now we got a lot of those coming.
Mm-hmm. A lot of covers.
Yeah, a lot of those. Like but I can't say I didn't have any ties to music because growing up I always freestyle. Mm-hmm. And anytime like any of the homies they'll say, oh, you know, if Shaq's around, you drinking, or even if you're not drinking, you just chilling. He gonna throw in the instrument.
Just freestyle.
And this was always a go-to. Always a go-to.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I finally was like, all right, I gotta do it one time. Like just really let loose. And I had it written, like I wrote it out, and then when I went and recorded it, I don't know what happened, but then all of a sudden, like I started making like this weird sound. So like, you know, you got the two images of me. Yeah. Like I didn't do that intentionally, but when I recorded it, that's how it came out. And I was like, huh. So then after the fact, I was like, all right, I got to figure out a way to incorporate this into a video. Yeah. And then that's how I came up with the 2, which is reality of myself because I had been fighting my inner self. Yeah. And it just so happened it
turned out cool. Yeah. And I was looking at it on a little screen. I'm like, that's him on both sides. I think. But the quality of your videos that you're putting out are really they're good. They're very clean. And so how do you do that with because that's you on both sides. Yeah. So you do a green screen or you just overlap?
Nah, it wasn't a green screen. I leave that all to my boy K-Pack. Yeah. I tell him, and from day one, even like the first video, May 29th, I think what really connected us, because that was the first video I ever did, and I spent some quality dollars on that, and he even looks like, bro, this is your first video. Like I've never seen someone do this from the first. So from there, like he's really like respected, and we really have connected. So I just tell him the vision, like, hey, I have this, this, and this, and then I'll let him do the rest. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I've seen other people spend money trying to do what you're doing, like these really nice videos, and the video will come out really good, but like the content's just real choppy because you're dealing with people that aren't actors. They got this idea that they want to put out their own album, so they're going to make a promo video or whatever, and so the video comes out looking real good, but there's just something real off about it. You know what I mean? But yours are great. They're very good.
I appreciate it.
I put your website up at work too because I just got the email from you and I emailed you back and I pulled up your website and I've got 3 screens at work. That's why I'm looking up like this. It was on my like non-primary screen. Yeah, yeah. So I just put it up there and I left it alone and I went back to work and somebody walked by and they're like, "What is that?" And I looked up and it was doing all this like background, like that's downtown Dallas, right?
Yeah, downtown Dallas.
And it's just a really damn cool website. And I'm like, oh, well, that's Shaq Mack. He's coming on the show, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah. So yeah, that was footage from the video "Can I Trust You in My Heart" we shot in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
so cool.
drone footage actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spiderweb Media. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems to me, and I don't know shit about the industry, but it seems like you're doing all the right things. I mean, everything you're putting out is not haphazard. I mean, you're doing it right.
Yeah. So like the other thing, so when I started doing it, and I guess I decided I was going to do it, I was like, all right, I gotta literally do this to the walls. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't gonna like have no what if moment because I've had 2 of those in my entire life, like 2 that stick out. So it was in high school I played football, but I was always short and fat. So like after sophomore year, I was like, all right, man, like
you don't look like you could have ever been short or fat.
Right.
They're not watching the video. Shaq does not look like he was ever short and fat.
Yeah, man. So I was chubby, man. I was like 5'6", 200 pounds. So after my sophomore year, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stop. Like I'm not growing. Like it's just wasting time. Let's put energy to schoolwork because I know that's what's gonna get me out. Well, my junior year, they ended up winning state championship in football. Mm-hmm. And pretty much all the starters were my year. Like people I'd grown playing football with the whole time. Well, after junior year, going to senior year, I hit a growth spurt. And actually, no, I take that back. Starting the beginning of junior year of high school, I got to school that first day, and I was looking around, and I was like, man, y'all not that tall anymore, right? And I finally realized, like, oh, I guess I grew, right? So they win the state championship. So then going to senior year, I was like, all right, I'm going to just go play, just last year, just enjoy time, really just enjoy time with all the fellas. Well, second string fullback, and then first game didn't get playing time, second game you get playing time. So I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, let's focus on school. I know I'm going to university. Let's get the grades up higher, GPA. Well, after that second week, the starting fullback gets injured. Mm-hmm. And he's out for a significant amount of time.
Got to get Shaq in there.
But Shaq was gone.
Oh, no.
Shaq had already walked away, and I was like, man.
That's all right.
All right, fast forward. We get to TCU. All right, so my senior year, I was like, all right, I'm gonna walk on the team. It's like my last year is, looking around all the players, like pretty much have known all of them, met them over the time, and I'm like, I'm just as big as a lot of them. So going into senior year, I worked out all the time. Remember Wayman James? Are you familiar with TCU football?
No, man.
Well, Wayman James was a running back. He was probably one of my favorite running backs to watch. You go check some highlights.
Okay.
Train with him because we both taking the summer class. So helped him with schoolwork. He put me on workouts. At that time got in the best shape in my entire life.
What year is this?
This was 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, 2013.
Because I know TCU football, I don't know how it's doing right now because COVID kind of screwed everything up.
Yeah.
3 years ago, they were just murdering it.
Yeah. They've it's been
back and forth, but yeah, they play some good ball.
They're playing Texas right now. They're playing Texas right now.
And they just got that state. Their field just got updated, right?
A couple years ago, and actually they got another renovation just recently. And it's nice.
Yeah,
it's super nice.
TCU's got the money.
Yeah, for sure.
Got some of your money too.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do. So me and him work out all summer, get in the best shape, and then I meet my now ex-wife, or we rekindled.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, do I really want to walk on the last year? Or do I want to enjoy the quality time with her? So I chose that route.
Yeah.
And that season in football, all 3 starters end up getting injured.
Shit.
They end up bringing a couple players up from the walk, and I was like,
So that's 2. So your 2 what if moments in life were football.
That's 2. And I said I'll never do it again. But
how's your back feeling these days?
My back is good. And
okay.
And that's a simple. I don't regret it at all. But you do go through that phase dang, what if?
Man.
And my dad was like, well, what if you got a head injury?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other what ifs to throw in there too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I was like, what if, you know? So I was like, with this music, it's my choice. And if I strike out completely, like, it's gonna be because I chose to do this, not because it was forced. So I said, I won't have a what if.
Yeah.
We gonna.
Well, I followed that for a while. Just you know, don't have any regrets.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't always turn out great. I mean, like I went into business for myself, and I was faced with that question that I kind of put on myself before I quit my very stable job. Doing something that I did enjoy. And went out and started working for myself, and it ended up not turning out great. I mean, I did some cool stuff. I mean, I got my company within, I think, a year and a half or 2 years. We were on national television doing stuff with HGTV and stuff like that. It was cool. I did a lot of cool stuff, but inevitably I ended up wrapping the whole thing up and just shutting it down. But I don't have any regrets. You know what I mean?
Shouldn't.
Because, I mean, even though I did not, it didn't carry through, and that's not the route that I chose to continue to live, I went out, I tried it, I did okay. Some cool stuff happened, and I don't have any regrets.
Yeah.
You know, I think that whenever I tell people that, I used to have my own business, and they're like, oh, no, what happened? I'm like, no. I decided I didn't want to do it anymore because it was awful. But, yeah, you gotta live life. You only get one shot at this shit, and you definitely don't want to have those regrets. Yeah. But at least your two what ifs are just football related.
Yeah.
You know?
It could be. I mean, those are the two that just stick out because you know he was like right there at that cusp. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, no more. Yeah. Right.
And I can understand how you'd be kind of wishing you had explored that a little more because you have the body for it. Like you have the build for football.
I appreciate it. But then again, like I'm very useless when it's cold. Like,
isn't that most Texans? I mean, we do not like the cold.
Yeah, so I mean, we'd have gotten to November and you'd be like, dang, Shaq isn't playing worth anything. So like, you know, hindsight looking at it, like I know that's my what if, but hindsight, I'm like, you know, that all worked out for the best. Yeah. It worked out for the best. Like I don't regret. Like I know, like me and my ex-wife, we're not a thing now, but like, you know, it's all about the experiences, man. I enjoyed it, and you know, and a lot of times, like we'll have these things that we start, and we'll have this fantasy dream goal, but in reality, we really don't have a set goal. Like every day, like I'm amazed at what I do with music. But you know, and it's like, you know, be a big star, yeah, maybe, but like you really got to enjoy the small things. Yeah. You really got to enjoy the small things along the way. And
a lot of most industries, it's you got to know somebody or you got to get lucky or whatever. Yeah. So with any type of art or creation, you have to be okay with just what you're doing because the odds of it, you're extremely talented. So you got a much better shot than some people that I've talked to.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I just do what I can, man. Like I said, I don't know. Yeah. I just do.
But I mean, you're making the right point. You got to just enjoy what you're doing because if you keep looking all the way down at the horizon, you'll never be able to enjoy where you're at.
You'll never enjoy it, man. So, you'll never enjoy it.
Well, what's next for Shaq Mack? What do we got on the books?
Man, I don't know.
So, I mean, do you do live performances? It looks like you do.
I do. Yeah. It hasn't, like my next show that for sure is booked is in Houston in November. Okay. At a women's conference. Okay. Well. That'd be fun. But like, I take them like as they come, like if the opportunity makes sense. But that's not like my focus right now. Right. Because like I got been around long enough to like witness people who just perform. But that doesn't necessarily mean your fan base is growing. Right. Yeah. Right. So now it's just creating consumable content. Yeah. And from the beginning, that's all like my engineer Chico is like, dude, it's just a popularity contest. Like, you know. So it's like, all right, how do you increase the popularity? Shake hands. They tell the next person, then create more consumable content. Just little by little, just start capitalizing, playing chess.
Yeah. I certainly don't know, but it seems like in the music industry, just collaborations and working with different people. And and that's got to be one key part of it, at least. If it's not the thing to do, it might be one of the top, 50% of the pie.
Yeah, I got a big record I'm sitting on right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's
working with another team of people, or
a
few other artists.
Yeah, he's I can't say too much.
Right. Maybe next time you come on the show, you can tell us about it.
But he's the artist is signed with like a very, very well known hip hop legend.
Awesome. That'll be cool.
Yeah, very well known. So
keep us in suspense.
Yeah. So and how that all came about is bizarre.
Can you tell us that part?
Yeah, I
without dropping names.
Yeah. So it was July. I think it was July. So I knew I was going to San Diego for a buddy's wedding. So this was a Monday, July 4th, actually, Monday. So I'm sitting at my hairstylist's house. She's braiding my hair, and we're listening to music. And the artist is playing. I've heard him before, and like I like his music. And I was like, man, I'm going to California like here in a couple of days. Like I'm gonna hit him up and just see, one, if he responds back, and then two, if we can make the collaboration
fearless.
All right. So Tuesday morning, shoot him an email. 3 hours later, he responds back.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And then I had to tell myself, I was like, and now I'm just like, if it happens, it's meant to be. If not, then hey, it's not the end of the world. Keep going. Like, you gotta enjoy strikeouts too, right? Well, we talk, come to terms on business. And I was like, all right, well, I get to San Diego on Thursday. I can drive on Friday. This was Tuesday, right? The email sent Tuesday. So I get to San Diego Thursday. And I get a rental, drive up to L.A., and I'm sitting here with this artist. I'm just like, man.
What the hell's going on?
Right. And he plays the track, right? And I thought he was just going to play the beat and then just brainstorm. Like just some words. Well, he plays the track, and it's this whole verse, and I'm listening. I'm like, dude, like I think I should just give you the song. That's how good it was. I'm like, bro, like he took the and all I did was send him a beat and just tell him the concept of the song,
right?
And he took it to a whole nother level, like I never would have imagined.
Within just a few days.
Yeah. Really, like, because I mean, we came to terms, I think like Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. And he's also working on his album right now too. So he did the.
Are you and this artist going to continue to work together?
That's the plan, but his platform is way bigger than mine, and I know once he drops his albums, which is like why the team and I we really gotta start capitalize, so that way once, because I know when he drops his next album, it's because his last album was really good, and he's really taking his time with his next album, so.
So you're trying to keep that momentum.
You gotta keep the momentum going. That way we can justify the action. So it's track after track, bam, bam, bam. Everything we release, we just gotta kill it. And also, I say consumable content, but you also have to have quality stuff. Quality music, quality lyrics. I'm big on lyrics. Yeah. I'm big on connecting with the people. And let my experiences help you get through your experience. But yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
it'll be good.
Me and Lindsay Hightower were talking about that last recording we did, which 3 or 4 weeks ago. But the thing that makes music so, I think, important's not the right word, but the reason that people are drawn to certain music is it makes you feel like you're not alone. Yeah. And if you've experienced this, then if you haven't, you just think I'm babbling like an idiot. But you go through certain things in life, and whether you're celebrating, whether you're feeling remorse or grief or whatever, there's different music that you might be drawn towards. And I went through a situation where I was really drawn towards a certain type of music, and it was it's like it was making it worse. When you're sad and you listen to a sad song, it makes you sad. Yeah. More so than you were before you listen to the track. Yeah. So why would you do that to yourself? But it feels good in a bad way or if it's bad in a good way, but it just makes you not feel alone.
Yeah.
So you build relationships with your audience, and I saw this a lot with Blue October. They built an audience, or a following rather, off of music that was connecting with a certain group of people. And they've kind of gotten into this weird area where people that have been through a lot of trauma emotionally or otherwise are really drawn to their older music.
Yeah.
But now like that band is bringing their entire following into like a new era, and that music has changed for Blue October. It's not so much tragedy and dealing with grief. It's more about moving on and living life. It's just really interesting to watch. And so anyway, all that just kind of, I don't know. I always thought music was kind of like fast food. Like, I like that. Let me listen to it and, whatever. But it's more than that.
Yeah.
There's things in life that are a little more important than, why are we as humans, why are we on this earth? And I think it's to make art and take care of each other and, like you're doing. You're not working towards money right now. You're working towards your passion, what you want to do. And that's the kind of stuff that's important. And these connections that we make through music and art and community, that's the kind of stuff that I think more people should focus on. That and science. We need to go to Mars.
Yeah.
That was a curveball, but I love what you said. That's
Nah, for sure, man. I know people always say, "Oh, music is your passion." Music was never my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Music was just something I'm doing, and along the way, I'm developing passion.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
Right.
It's more sincere that way.
Yeah, because and people always say, "Oh, is this somebody?" I'm like, nah. Like I'm telling you, like I really just went in the studio one time. Like I had no anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you told me I've been doing this right now, like you're full of it. Like Shaq Mack rapping. Like Shaq Mack is a thing. Like even before I came, I got the shower, I got dressed, and I talk to myself in the mirror like as a hype man. I'm just like, bro, like you're Shaq Mack, and I was like, yeah, and I just giggle, man. I just giggle for like minutes on minutes. I'm just like, it's crazy, and it's like I haven't even like reached like this measure, but.
Yeah, but you've created something.
Yeah,
and now that's part of your persona.
And it's just like the thoughts in my head, right?
Regardless of how successful you become, you have created a new thing, and it's part of your persona now.
Yeah, it's bizarre, man. And it's like, so the first album was like, where do I go from here? Now like where I've been.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, what's the next one, right? So it's just along the lines, man. Music is. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Do you have anybody helping you kind of set things up, connections and shows and things like that? You're all on your own?
I do it all on my own.
Okay, well, shout out to Matt from Hightower. He's gonna have to give you a call. I don't know how anybody could do it all by themselves. Focus on the creative side of this and handle all that other stuff, the promotions, the making the connections.
The thing is, like what I've learned, my thing in life, I've always gone against the grain. Like if somebody tell me I can't do, because believe it or not, I grew up with a speech impediment.
Really?
So up until I got into high school, I couldn't say my name.
Damn. So
it'd be like Shaq, oh Chad, like Jack, like. No, like Shaq. So anytime I introduce myself, it's like Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
That's all like I ever did. And then once I got to college, I think like maybe like junior, senior year of high school, I realized, oh, like I'm saying my name better. I guess the impediment kind of corrected itself. Yeah. And then I got to college and it was like Shaq Mack.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, and then I had like teachers like. Smart kid and say, oh, you're not good enough to go to a university. You're not smart. And I'm like,
who's telling you this?
It was my junior English teacher, right? I said, hold my beer. Hold my beer, man. And nobody had gone to TCU. And I was like, people ask, like, why? Like, because I'm from East Texas. I grew up in East Texas. So it's like, I had never been to Fort Worth, knew nothing about TCU. TCU was like the first school that sent a letter to the house.
Really?
I applied there. And at that time, that was the only school I was applying to. I was like, I'm not applying nowhere else. Like, that's just what it is. And people was like, oh, you should at least apply to a couple more, like, in case you don't get in. Well, I ended up applying to Baylor and Abilene Christian. Both of them sent me on the wait list. And then TCU sends me back, hey, you're accepted the first go.
You ever been to Abilene?
I've never been. Again,
there's no reason to go.
I went to Waco and I was like, everything happens for a reason. Yeah. I got the TCU, got the Fort Worth, and I wasn't really so fond of Fort Worth, but like TCU, I was like, we're good. Yeah. So that was one. And then even like after the divorce, like I turn around and buy a house on my own, like buy TCU. Like when I did that, that's where I was like really like, nobody can tell me like you can't do something. Like 'cause if you set your mind, because I remember like when I was in college, it was me and my ex-wife and then another couple friend of ours who was like driving through those neighborhoods. And I remember I used to tell myself like, dude, you're gonna buy a house over here, right? And, a lot of times you do something and say, oh, I'm gonna do that. And then I remember I bought a house. When I bought the house, I was like, dude, this is crazy. Yeah, like this is mine. And like I did it after the divorce. Like you like that's very unheard of, right? It's unheard of. Like no cosign, nothing, right? And I was like,
did you get this house before all the crazy price jump in real estate?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a hell of a deal on it. Yeah. I'm definitely reaping benefits. Like I'm watching it. So it's like everything's by timing.
Yeah. Well, I bought a house in 2015 or 2016. Yeah. Kicking myself in the ass now because I should have kept that thing. Yeah. I sold it because, man, the prices were going up so quickly. It was like, well, this isn't going to last. Yeah. This is going to be another one of those 2008 housing bubbles. Yeah. That's going to pop. So I'm going to sell. I'm going to get rid of my house. So I did, and I made a pretty good profit. And then the prices kept going up. Yeah. And up. Yeah. And up. And now it's 2021, and it's not getting any better. Houses are so expensive down here. Yeah. And what happened is, people were coming from California and seeing the prices on these Texas homes, and they're like, I'm sorry, how many square feet? Yeah. Yeah, I'll take 2. Yeah. And selling their $1 million home in California and then getting the same house for $120,000 here in Texas. Yeah. And as soon as that started happening, that's when the prices started going up. Yeah, yeah. And people have just flooded the state. I can't build. I'm on the fringe edge of construction, and I'm telling you right now, people can't get houses fast enough. Like they can't build them fast enough to accommodate the people that are moving to the area.
But that's the downfall of these new houses. Because they're trying to build them so quickly.
Oh, they're dog shit.
And
the house I had in 2015 or 16, whatever, they put that thing up in like a month and a half, 2 months. It was so fast. Yeah. And then like I'm moving into the house, I'm in the attic, I'm putting stuff up, and I'm seeing like the way they put just the roof joist. Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, this is insane. This is a brand new house. It passed inspection. I don't know how. And so I had the builder come back in and correct a ton of shit. Yeah. But it passed inspection. Yeah, the bank said, yeah, we'll pay for that. Yeah. Bizarre. Yeah, but you're right. They're going up fast. They're getting built cheap. And you can look around these housing divisions that have been put together in like, they're maybe 5 years old now. Yeah. And you go cruising around and you're like, okay, these are just falling apart. The fences are all laying over because they were put up like shit. Yeah. Yeah. The houses don't look too bad, but these temporary flower beds they put in have just become part of the yard. And I mean, it just everything's.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to live in Frisco, so I seen all that. And I remember.
Oh, Frisco's crazy.
Yeah. And I used to be in construction as well on the utility side. I was a safety director. And, I used to like go in the house and like we had relationship with builders. I'm just like, there's no way I would buy a new house.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't pay for this. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Like my house now it was built in 1939.
Yeah. That's an older area.
39.
Yeah. Very established neighborhood.
Yeah. And like you walk in the house and that was like the key point. And that was also part of like how I came to this whole silver lining of like finding peace. Mm-hmm. Like this house was built in 1939. Mm-hmm. Right. And the foundation was near perfect.
Yeah.
Near perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the person who built this house in 1939 had no intent, no knowledge, no thought of Shaq Mack living in this house in 2021, right? Or 2019 when I bought it.
Yeah.
But it was like, how is this house still here, though?
Yeah, nearly 100 years later.
Right, nearly 100 years later. And I was like, somebody had to give a damn about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We took pride in our work back
then. Yeah. And it's like, and the light in the living room, there's like light switches. And I used to, never thought anything about it. I'll go flip the light switch and then go pull the fans. And then one day I pulled it and I was like, the light is off. And I realized that it's not even connected.
Oh, shit.
This is like one of the original lights where you have one string, you pull, the light comes on, pull, goes off.
Yeah.
One string for the fan, one speedy for the fan, that's it.
Huh.
And I was like, this is a original
fan?
Original fan.
Jesus.
And it still worked. And like all, I'm like,
and the blades weren't drooping like they
the blades weren't drooping. I'm like,
wow.
And then I was looking around the house and I was like, because there was like a lot of renovation I had said I was going to do, but I hadn't done. And I'm just like, dang, somebody cared.
You know anything about Maytag, the appliance company
the
or whatever?
brand, yeah.
And I might have my facts screwed up here, but somewhere in what I'm about to tell you, there's some truth.
Okay.
But it was Maytag, I believe, and we had a Maytag whenever I was a kid, and it nothing special. It's just a box and it washes clothes. But that damn thing, it did 12 loads of laundry a week, and it just never broke ever. And that was my grandparents' washing machine before it was our washing machine. And my grandmother did 12 loads a week in that damn thing, and it never broke. And just on and on and on. The thing was at least 40 years old, and it was just unstoppable. Never had any issues.
Yeah.
And so Maytag, the company, started having a lot of trouble because there's only so many families in the U.S. that are going to buy this product, right? And once they got it, now that's one less person you can sell to, right? So everybody had a Maytag. It had a great reputation. Everybody knew this was the product that you buy if you're going to get a wash machine.
Yeah.
But their sales started to decline. And they're like, okay, well, this is bad. And I think at one point it either did or was about to go into bankruptcy. And so because of that, the business model for them and for everybody else inside of that industry or similar industries like your cell phone that you got there that has to be replaced every 2 years, they followed a different protocol. Let's not make this shit so good that they never have to buy from us again.
It makes sense.
So Maytag and everybody else started engineering their stuff with products or material or whatever. They were designed to break down after a while.
Yeah. And
that seems like such a shit thing to do, but if your intent is to keep a business going, then you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm not necessarily angry at the capitalist idea that, we need to design this stuff so it doesn't last forever. But, if you think about it more on like a why are we all here on Earth kind of way,
yeah.
more of from the heart of the human experience, it's like you got to not do shit like that.
Yeah.
Because now what are you doing? You're just creating waste.
Yeah.
So I think what people's goal should be is like, if you're going to produce something like that, let's make a great company and it'll do its thing. And then you can just run your business from the service sidelines after you run out of customers and then go start another business. Maybe that's the idea.
That's my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna give you high quality.
Yeah,
we're gonna push it.
That's the way it ought to be.
And then when Loyal Dreams or Shaq Mack can't go, hello, you have
shift gears. I'm trying to think of a name right now. Hootie and the Blowfish, and then he went country.
Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker, yeah, great voice, very talented guy, but that had ran its course. So then he moved into country, and whenever we found out Darius Rucker was doing country, everybody's like, I'm sorry, what? No, listen to it. And then you listen to it and you're like, oh my God, that's great.
What so
what genre is Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yeah, because I knew he was part of that group, and to this day I've never gone back and listened because I was like, I like Darius Rucker, and I was like,
okay, so Hootie and the Blowfish, today's standards would definitely not qualify as rap, and I'm probably wrong on this, but back in like whenever in their heyday, in Hootie and the Blowfish's heyday, I think that was kind of considered R&B, hip hop, almost rap back then, like, which would not be now, but I think just pop music is probably what it would qualify as. If you were going to try to find Hootie right now, I could be completely wrong. But anyway, that was probably the first time that I think most of the people in my age group saw that somebody could make a transition from one genre to another. Because nobody saw Darius Rucker doing that. Yeah. Darius Rucker is doing country now? Yeah. That doesn't even, my brain won't handle it, but now it's fairly common, that artists will change genres.
For sure.
And everybody's very forgiving of it now. But back then when Darius did it, he probably didn't sell many albums that first year. Yeah. That first album he dropped, people were just like, I don't know what to do with that.
This is my Darius. I like.
And he's a really good dude. I've listened to some podcast episodes where he came on and talked, and he is just a good dude. Yeah. But I'm finding, and this keeps coming up, people that are listening to the episodes sequentially are going to get tired of me saying this, but I love the music. I hate calling it an industry, but the culture. Yeah. The artists that I'm running into, and I mean, like you're talking about just the kind of the direction you want to take your life, the meaning of what it all is, and I don't know, it feels like the artists in our community are just more connected with the right stuff. Yeah. You know? Their intentions are in the right place. You know? And so I've just been I've been reaching out and connecting to a lot more artists lately. When I started this, anybody that would come on and talk to me, and it's still not far from that, but the show has been moving towards music at a very drastic rate lately. So comedians, musicians, that's just kind of where my heart's been at lately, and it's a good place to be.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it, man. And I think a lot of times, like, people in their careers, like, they'll start trying to do too much because they feel like they need to do too much. Like, sometimes the blueprint is there, and it's like, just perfect what you're doing. Like, if you enjoying it, just level up every time. Level up.
Well, I never wanted this to become like the reason, like, the name of the podcast doesn't make any sense. If you're scrolling through podcasts, usually you can read the name. So if you're like on the Apple Podcast Network or whatever you call it, and you're scrolling through trying to find a podcast that's interesting to you, typically the name will give you a clue as to what's inside that podcast. Yeah. Right. I did this as kind of a, I don't want it to get boxed into a corner, because I plan on doing this for a long time. Yeah. Until they take away my freedom of speech, or the internet goes down permanently or something. I'm going to keep doing this. Yeah. So I didn't want to get boxed into a corner. So I made this kind of open-ended statement here. Like, it's a podcast, and it's started in Fort Worth. That's it. That's all it is. Yeah. So we can talk to anybody.
So Fort Worth roots. So just a podcast that started in Fort Worth.
Yeah. Because I've lived in DFW for about 13 years. Okay. I've lived in Fort Worth off and on now because I went down to Austin, but I've been in Fort Worth for about 6 years. 6 years. And I've been all over the place. I've gone to a lot of different cities inside the U.S., and I've done a little bit of international travel, but this is home. I love Fort Worth. Yeah. It's big enough to be a city, like, you got everything you want here. It's big enough that comedians and artists will come to our city to perform. Mm-hmm. Or if it's not, they're right down the street. They're in Grand Prairie at their big venues, or they're in Dallas at some of those venues. So it's a really good spot, but it's still kind of a little bit West Texas out here. Yeah. So it feels really good. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. I've spent 9 months in Austin, and if you're in Austin or you lived in Austin and you love that place, I'm so sorry, but it just was not for me.
Austin is cool in increments
for the weekend. For the weekend.
Yeah, I used to go down there month in, month out for work, and it definitely got old. Like,
well, and the thing that I keep coming back to, and I tell people this whenever it comes up, but it's nobody's home anymore. It's a transient city. Like, people are from all over the world. Yeah. Like, nobody. I mean, of course, there's people that grew up there and their families have been there forever, but the growth that city has seen over the last 20 years is from everybody else just flooding that city.
Yeah.
And businesses are coming in. It's doing great. Austin is a wonderful place to start a business right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like where you're going to pick your home, that's not for me. That's beautiful. The west side of Austin is some of the most beautiful countryside in Texas. So,
okay.
But I don't know. Not for me. I'm back. I'm home.
But back to your title. Perception's not always reality.
Yeah.
So like Fort Worth Roots, because when I came across, I seen and it was a comic, and I read some more into it, and I was like, okay. And then I seen you at the HGTV show. Oh,
you did dig deep.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
Because that's on a whole nother platform.
Yeah. I was like, he has to be from Fort Worth, like Fort Worth Roots. Like it's just like, he's rooting out. It's a tree that's blossoming, right?
Yeah.
You're the seed that's planted, and you're just rooting out. So like,
you got it.
Perception's not always reality, you know. And if that's what you want the message to be, go with it, man.
Yeah,
go with it.
But for now, just meet
what you wanted.
Like
that's how I interpret it. Like how you see it. Like you're starting in Fort Worth and you spread. That's how I see it.
Okay.
And it's because the first thing I seen was not the musician. I seen Kate, and then I did some more digging, and I seen the Miss Hightower. What's her first name?
Lindsay Hightower.
Lindsay Hightower.
She is the nicest human.
What's her genre of music?
So I asked her the same thing, and she's kind of her own animal. I mean, it's Lindsay Hightower. I don't know. It's almost kind of country, but it's also rock. I mean, and then it's a little pop. I mean, but her voice is so beautiful, and she does a lot of writing too. They do cover, but most of her material is stuff that she's written. And like you were talking about, she bases her stuff off of, what she's been through and things like that. And it just makes her music extremely authentic. But I don't know. These genres are getting harder and harder to pin down.
I seen her on there, and just like off her image. I haven't had time to tap into her music, which I am. But like, I could see like country, but with like a spaz of just like rough, just like almost like a soul, but like not. I don't know. It's weird because I came across this young lady in Nashville, and me and another artist, we were talking about like what genre, because like you got a couple different artists like Adele, Amy Winehouse. Then the young lady that I met in Nashville is like, they're not pop, they're not quite soul, they're not country.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you call it? This is like they're not only, and I seen that when I seen Miss Hightower, and I was like, I gotta tap in.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna start my own thing where I've got two genres to pick from: music I enjoy and music I could.
Right. Good, bad.
There you go. What kind of music is it? Good. It's good music.
I'll listen to anything except heavy metal.
Yeah, and even that, like, there's I put some of this on at work the other day, and people are like, "What are you listening to?" But I enjoy it because they came out and played for us while we were deployed. 5 Finger Death Punch.
I know the group.
Now the band itself didn't play for us. It was the lead, and he was in another band. But anyway, it was it was awesome just to get that kind of. I mean, they're putting on a free show for you.
Yeah,
they traveled across the ocean into some people.
That's a different
I'll tell you that the area that they performed for us in was 100% safe. But when you're getting off a plane and everything looks like the movies, you got the desert and camels and a bunch of people that don't look like they'd ever live in your neighborhood, and you're getting out and you see soldiers with guns and things like that. It probably is a little bit of a jarring, Anyway, so they went through all that to bring a show to us, and because of that, I think that's what brought my fondness around for music like 5 Finger Death Punch and stuff like that. And some of their music does sound like really ridiculously hard. It's got the growling, yelling, screaming shit. And so, I'll even tolerate some of that stuff because they brought their music to us whenever we needed
we
needed a break.
something.
We needed something.
You didn't know what you needed, but that fulfilled it. So I respect it. Like that's how like country music is.
Really?
Like I listen to like more country music than I do rap.
Country music and me have I don't know. So I grew up with like Alan Jackson, George Strait, stuff like that. Randy Travis. Yeah. So to me, that's country.
Garth.
And then I'm sorry, I hope he doesn't hear this, but one of my coworkers just all day has got like new country on.
Yeah, new country is
and
like
it's
pop
just
music.
Well, it's pop music, but it's also like I'm so sad and I'm just sad and I like being sad and I'm sad. I'm just sad. That's all I hear while he's playing the shit, and I'm like,
yeah. At least like if like the gents you were listening, like if it was a sad song, like they made it fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, like that really dark song. I can't remember who sings it. Where the truck driver comes home and the wife is gone, and so he goes to the hotel with his big rig and he drives it through the hotel, and the paper said that he never hit the brakes and he was shifting gears when he hit it. It's like, that is a dark ass story, but it is a catchy song. Yeah. So not a great situation, but they made it fun.
But it's just all about how you present it. And then the thing like I've become fascinated with is like when he probably wrote that song and recorded it, he probably had this whole different idea in his head.
Maybe, yeah.
But then when people like interpret it the way they want. Like I've had like people like, oh, like I heard this song and I thought this and this. I'm like, cool, like
right on.
No judgment.
Not where I was like, going with that. But.
Yeah, everybody has different experiences, and you know, hey, I know if I see an article in the paper, you driving your car through a building,
right? Yeah.
All right, my man,
took that the wrong way.
Yeah.
Your song that you sent me to, the track that you sent me a link to in the email. What was the name of that one?
All on Me.
All on Me.
All on Me.
So the way I interpret that one is there are going to be a lot of babies made to that song.
Hey.
Is that kind of what you were going for on that?
Hey, y'all do what y'all do. Do what you do, man. As long as the kids come out good. Hey, Shaq Mack for the babies.
I showed Morgan that video. I came home and I was really excited. I was like, oh, you got to see this. He's coming on the show. And started playing the video for her. And I was like, I don't know if I want to show you this. It's too sexy. I don't know if you can handle this. It's too sexy. So then I gave it to her and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, just, be careful. Very, very sexy. Yeah,
man. Like, cause I know like growing, like pretty much like after college, like anytime like there's an event, like, or like people get together, it's like, I'll do whatever, like, to make sure everybody's happy. So it's like, it's all on me. Like, just enjoy. Like, let's have a good time. Like, it don't matter. Like, I don't ever, cause I used to tell my ex-wife this. I was like, we gonna argue, we gonna fight, but we not gonna ever argue and fight over money. Like, money just, it don't make sense. Like, and even like when I'm out with like fellas or something, like, bro, like, no, I'm on this. Don't worry about it. Like, like, it's just like, who cares? It's just money. Like, what I'm saying? I know that sounds like very cliche, but like if you put too much value in money, like that's all that's gonna like.
Well, you got to move through certain stages of life, and then you can look back at it and go, well, you look at things differently whenever you're in certain situations.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're a kid just starting out, I tell you what, there were days whenever we just wouldn't eat because we were so damn broke. It's like, well, this just is what it is. I'll get paid in a couple of days when I go to work. I know I can grab a salad out of the kitchen for free, so I'll do that. Coming up with plans. So you gotta, as far as the money thing goes, whenever you're living like that, you gotta get yourself out of it, because there's no way that you can tell that kid fresh out of the house, living on his own, just eating salads at work to stay alive, that money doesn't matter, because it won't compute.
But
once they get out of that situation and they start building a little bit of financial security for themselves, and shit, man, it took me a long time to get to where I could look at stuff and go, I don't think I really care how much I make. I think I want to do something that just makes me happy, because I'm not going to live forever.
Yeah.
And do I really want, because there is going to be a situation, hopefully one day you don't die in a violent way. And anyway,
let's hope not.
At some point in your life, you're going to be laid up in a hospital bed, and you're going to sit there and you're going to think about what you did with your time on this planet.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like you said, money really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you have to get yourself to a point where you can understand that.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you got to go out, you got to work, you got to store up a little bit of cash, so you're not just always redlining it.
Yeah. And who's ever listened to this podcast, obviously it's based off my experience, right? So like, I'm not anything I've done. Like, I'm not saying that if you do it, it'll work that way, and I'm not saying because I didn't do it, it won't work for you. But definitely, like, the money thing, that came from just personal experience. Like, I was always like, oh, I'm going to get this next promotion. Oh, the money, get more money, it's going to be good. I'm now making over $100,000. I'm like, yo, I'm still looking for, like, at some point, like, you got to be, like, happy and content with where you're at and just know, like, you still have a goal. But, like, be happy in the moment. Like, sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves, like, too much. Like, stress, and like some of the stuff is like self-inflicted. Like, just take a step back. Like, you don't necessarily need that. Like, what do you need? Like, you want that, you desire that. Do you have to have it?
Yeah.
No.
Chill out.
Yeah. But a lot of that's like influence off social media. Because like before music, I had never used social media.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had stopped using social media in like 2012. No social media. Like, I just had no desire. Like, if I was really close to you, like, we had phone numbers, I'll call you, shoot you a text, send you happy birthday, call you, tell you happy birthday.
Yeah.
And then I started doing the whole social media for the music, because it got to be a piece of it.
Yeah.
But then I started consuming too much, and I'm just like, and that's part of like what really enhanced this depression. I was just like, no, bro, like.
So you think that social media stuff had a pretty strong part
in your
depression?
For sure. Because like what I had to do, I had to like take a step back, and I was like, all right, there was a time in life where you were like happy. I mean, you weren't like satisfied, you were happy, like, you were at peace. All right, so where were you at? Like, what were you doing? Like, what was in your life? And social media was a big factor, because you just see, like, you see somebody on a trip. Oh, now I need to take a trip. Like, you need to take a trip before you look at that. Like, now you want to take a trip. Like, now you're gonna put all this pressure. Oh, I gotta go take a trip, or I need to go get this, or I need to do that, or I'm not doing this and that. And then what would kill me is like, I would do that, and then I would get with the person in person. I'm just like, oh man, this ain't what the picture said, but you see what you want. Like, perspective is not always reality.
The social media thing is something that I think as a species we're still trying to kind of figure out, struggle with, and it
has its pros and cons. Like, I look at it like, too much of anything is never good. Right. And
well, there's a problem whenever there's applications out there. Like, I think it was maybe I was listening to a stand-up or something. I listen to a lot of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But somebody was talking about how they were on their phone. I think this was Instagram. What's the TikTok? Damn, I don't mess with TikTok, because that will take your life. TikTok will screw you up. You'll lose 2 hours and not know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's talking about, she's on TikTok and she's flipping through it, and she's just laying there on the bed and she's flipping. And at some point she gets an alert that goes, hey, why don't you go take a break? Like, are you hungry? Like, you should go eat. There's a problem when we have applications out there that are trying to help you get away from their product.
Yeah.
I mean, you're making them money by scrolling. And if you don't know that by now, then you're just not paying attention. But when you're scrolling, you're building up ad money for different companies. Like, that's their only goal. It's an advertisement platform. And so for the person that is making money off of you to go, hey, are you okay? Like, stop, take a break. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
There's obviously a problem here.
Yeah. That's pretty bizarre, man.
Shaq, I appreciate this so much.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
This was a big moment for me. And another thing is, we haven't had anybody from your side of the music industry. So, and I'd been thinking about that for a long time. Like, I've got to find some, and I did talk to a couple of people that were, I'm going to use air quotes here, rappers, I reached out to them just to kind of see what was going on, and I ended up pulling the plug on it because it just wasn't. I listened to some of their music and I was like, I can't even condone that.
and that's what I've come to realization with. Like, I don't refer people. Like, I know a lot of like dope artists, right? Yeah. But like, I don't know like how their business side is per se. Yeah. And the most recent story. So, person reached out, was like, "Hey, I need to do some artwork, graphic work." It's like, "Oh yeah, send my graphic guy." And my graphic guy takes care of me. Like, it's our relationship, right?
So of course he's gonna help your friend. Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, the guy he ghosted him." Then I said, "Oh man."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Never again," because I
trying to help
I only know what Shaq Mack will do. Like, can do. Like, I mean, there's a lot of dope artists, a lot of dope.
But there's also a lot of people out there that just have this image, like, I'm gonna be this thing. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be a musician.
Yeah.
And so then they just make something without any thought, preparation, or care, which is pretty much what I do when I make a podcast. But it's different in music.
Yeah.
Like, you're making a 3-minute piece of art, and it's got to kind of work. And if you just say words into a microphone and then put a track behind it, that's not. I mean, that's just you playing around.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily art. And it seems like there's quite a bit of that out there. Like, I'm sure you've seen it too.
Yeah.
People telling you that they're kind of your equal, and then you're like, no, not really, huh?
Yeah. Well, I when I first came into it, I used to be so starstruck, and I used to like think certain people had like these big platforms.
Yeah.
And then I started breaking it down. I'm like,
yeah,
like. The music ain't making you money. Like, what are you doing? Like, like I don't like the thing is like, and a lot of them like they're trying, and I'm big on like receiving advice, but like certain people like I'm not gonna take it.
Gotta
like,
be careful.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I look at it like that. I could walk away from music and my life's not gonna change. If you walk away from music, like what's gonna happen? So I have to like look at, and it's not like like arrogance thing, but it's like you really have to be selective on what you bring into your piece.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm big on protecting my peace, which is why I do yoga. And like, you can't consume everything. I don't care what it looks like, but sometimes you gotta face reality. And people I thought had these super high platforms, it's like, you're not even doing like,
they're just trying to fake it.
It's like, I mean, like, to a certain degree, like, I don't even know if you say you have to fake it to, like, you really just gotta have a plan, like a goal, and just work towards it, like, every day. Like, nobody knows the right way. Like, you know, they say, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that." Like, no one knows. Like,
well, and you can do it however you want.
Yeah.
But whenever I pulled up your information and I saw what you had going on, it was obvious that you cared about what you were doing.
Right.
This wasn't just some shit you threw together. So
and that's all I want. Like, I want the hard work I put into it. I want people to see that.
Yeah, it reflects. It does.
Yeah. So I definitely appreciate that insight.
Where do the listeners find all your information? ShaqMack.com.
We started the podcast already?
Are you kidding me?
Dude, I thought we was just talking, man.
Oh, wow. You're not the first person to say that, though. Hey, no, we've been recording for an hour and 17.
That's good. I caught heat of it. But I say that to say it was a good conversation. It was just genuine. Like, you know, I didn't feel pressured.
That's good. I
didn't even break a sweat, man.
That's the idea behind it. You know, I want this to be quality content, but it is literally just a conversation.
Yeah.
And Morgan, she will co-host with me sometimes whenever she can, and she likes to take notes and she'll write stuff down.
Yeah.
And I do research too. I'll go and I'll look stuff up and just kind of put it in my head. So, but she has a very formal interview process.
Yeah.
And she started to ask me today. She's like, "Are you gonna take?" And she stopped and she's like, "Never mind." I was like, "What?" She's like, No, it's no big deal. I know it's just a conversation." I'm like, "Yeah." So, but it works for me.
Hey, whatever works, man. I like it. I like this vibe. I was just like, hey, we chilling.
You were welcome on Fort Worth Roots any time.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Is there anything that you want to promote right now other than what your album?
I'm on Instagram, Shaq, SHAQ_Mack, MACK_. Just released a new music video Friday on social media. It goes live on YouTube Monday. Got several videos on YouTube. website, www.shaqmack.com.
Just go to his website.
Yeah, just Google Shaq Mack and just have fun, man. Shaq Mack, it's a brand, it's a thing. We're not stopping. We're not going anywhere. So
awesome.
That's it.
All right. Next time we're going to spend probably a fair amount of time talking about that Porsche that's sitting in my driveway right now. That is cool. That is a cool machine. That's a man's machine.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun.
All right. Fort Worth Roots, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for listening. And we will see you next week.
Yeah.
I'm all on you. So what you tryna do? So what you tryna do? It's so sexy when you grind on me. You light up the room. You light up the room. Loving on me, baby, you can do no wrong, wrong. She say put me in the mood, get me in the groove to my favorite song. You know it's gonna
You all on me, shit, I'm all on you. Loot the plan, what you tryna do? Whispering sweet nothings, got your body heating up. From a simple touch, got the room steaming up. You here for the night and your body calling. Your eyes in my favor, baby, we going all in. Mesmerizing your closest every home. Fantasizing you with nothing on, let's get it on. Slip on your favorite lingerie so I can slip it off. Working all around the clock like no days off. Lay it down, tongue sticking like glue. Could be with any girl, but tonight I'm with you. What you tryna do?
You all on me, I'm all on you. So what you tryna do? So what you tryna do? It's so sexy when you grind on me. You light up the room. You light up the room. Loving on me, baby, you can do no wrong, wrong. She say put me in the mood, get me in the groove to my favorite song. You know it's going
Start
down.
the bubble bath with the wine table side. Exotic to a plain Jane, but still worth the time. Don't tell me what you like, let me figure it out. Grip me tight to speed it up, or loosen up to slow it down. Bite my index to alleviate the noise. Going back to back like them Oak Town boys. Feeling like Gates, tongue out between the booty cheeks. Do to you what you do to me, girl, you a super freak. Face looking like I just worked out. You know pressure bust pipes, so I'm easing it now. My body on your body all through the night. Kiss on the forehead, gotta leave for my flight. Enjoy the night.
You all on me, I'm all on you. So what you tryna do? So what you tryna do? It's so sexy when you grind on me. You light up the room. You light up the room. Loving on me, baby, you can do no wrong, wrong. She say put me in the mood, get me in the groove to my favorite song. You know it's going down.
You know what's going down.
You know it's going down.
It's all on me.
You know it's going down.
You know what's going down.
You know it's going down.
It's all on me, baby.
You all on me, I'm all on you. So what you tryna do?
So what you tryna do?
It's so sexy when you grind on me. You light up the room. You
Light up the room.
Loving on me, baby, you can do no wrong,
No wrong.
She
Nah.
say put me in the mood, get me in the groove to my favorite song. You know it's going down. You know it's going down.
It's all on me, baby.
A huge thank you to Shaq Mack for coming on the show, introducing himself to our guest, and getting us into the rap genre, something that we've not experienced yet. He showed up in a Porsche. He put this thing in my driveway, and I'm sure my neighbors are like, what in the hell is going on? Why is there a Porsche next door? I know that guy doesn't drive a Porsche, but it's a very cool car. And you can find this very cool car in video that he just did, and it's available on his YouTube, his Facebook. It's on Fort Worth Roots Facebook. So you can check that out. If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, folks, please subscribe to the show. That way it will let you know when I have cool interviews like with Shaq Mack or Betsy Price. It'll just pop up. It'll say, hey, you might be interested in this. And then you can say, okay, yeah, I want to hear that. Or I don't. No big deal. But we put them out every week. I make them for you. Subscribe to the show. Please do that. And share it. Share it if you want to. Let other people know about this. I'd appreciate it. Look. You don't owe me anything. I'm just happy that you're here listening to the show. Thank you for being here. Every time you listen to the show, it shows up on this interactive map. If you've listened to more than one episode, you already know that. Talk about it all the time. There's some things that I keep talking about, and I need to stop that Because for somebody that listens to these things sequentially, I'm sure they're like, Jesus Christ, all right. Oh, here he goes again. He's talking about that one thing. Well, let me just go ahead and stop listening now. I think that's probably where I'd be at with it. So, but anyway, I'm going to be me. Need to give a big shout out to Dawn Martinez Gutierrez. This lady messages me all the time about silly posts, things like that. But last week, she messaged me and she's like, I'm listening to this episode right now at work. It's a cool feeling. Made me feel good. And I said, look, I'm going to shout you out next episode. And then it started a whole storm of shit. People are like, what about me? I said, well, you didn't tell me you're listening to it at work. Don did. So what's up? Don, thanks for listening to the show. I appreciate it. And keep listening. And feedback. Folks, please let me know. I'm trying to make this better for you. media@fortworthroots.com. You can email me. And here's another one of those reoccurring things. You can send me an MP3 format voicemail. Every phone out there, I think, has a recorder. iPhone, smartphone, Android, whatever. Pick out your recorder. Tell me what you think about the show or the episode. And then you can just email the file, an MP3 format file, to media@fortworthroots.com. And then I'll put it on the show if it's not too crazy. If it's just you babbling, that's cool. I'll put it on the show. That's what we do here at the end of the episode. We babble. That's it, man. I don't have anything else to tell you folks. Thank y'all for being part of Fort Worth Roots. I feel good about this. Lately, I've felt very good about this. The momentum, the consistency's been there. The guests that we've had on, it's been incredible. And Shaq Mack, this guy, like we talked about it in the episode, but he's another creator that feels the same way I do about all this stuff. It's like, you know, if you focus too much on the numbers, it starts getting kind of disheartening. And that's got to be how it is for every artist out there. But if you just focus on what you're trying to do, what your goal is, your passion, if you just focus on the product, everything else is just secondary. But I'm having a lot of fun with this. I love it. Never going to stop doing it. But I want to make it better. So let me know. Let me know if I can do anything to help. Yeah. Whatever. I am really babbling this time. Guys, I can't wait to see you next week. Thank y'all for being here. And that's it. Peace. Bye.